What's up, y'all? Uh, where do I start? I mean, I didn't have us winning the ball game anyways. Falcons lost 31-13. It's but at the end of the day, it's just how we lose the game. It's not even so much that we lost the game; it's how we lose these ball games. The first thing first, we got to get out of the way. The Falcons set the tone for this ball game when they recovered that kick return that was within the red zone, and they didn't walk away with any points. When you go down to the red zone and get first and goal at the 2 and you run the ball. Now, I will go ahead and say this. That play call, that was a bad call from the officials. That should have been a touchdown. I will be honest about that. That should have been a touchdown. But outside of that, you ran a play action pass to Lee Smith, who was your blocking tight end. Your third down play was a halfback toss to freaking Cordero Patterson. As much as I love Cordero Patterson, he has no reason to be receiving a halfback toss on third and goal. And then on fourth down, you didn't walk away with anything. Kyle Pitts, was a corner route to Kyle Pitts. He didn't catch it. That was your first drive of the game. Then you walked away, came back in the second drive of the game, kicked the field goal. You left at that moment right there where it could have been a 10-0 ball game. It's 3-0, which again, that's demoralizing if you're any team. And then outside of that, the second half, of course, we walked away 3 times in the red zone and did not score. You can't do that if you're trying to win a ball game to be in the playoff picture. This isn't just a ball game that the Falcons are in just to play. This could have put them at number 6 in the NFC. Do I think this team is good enough to make the playoffs? No. But at the end of the day, you're in the playoff race. You can't. The 49ers were not spectacular today. That's the biggest thing. They were not spectacular in this ball game by any means. But the Falcons blew the game when they didn't score on the first drive of the game. And you come out in the second half. We'll get to that in a second. Let me go to the comments real quick. John, what's going on, bro? He said, the start of the game on the kickoff, thought the Falcons were coming ready to play, but it's coming with no points where you could have set the tone. That's exactly what I just mentioned. They lost the game when they walked away with nothing. You cannot lose ball. You cannot come away with nothing on that drive. The Falcons walked away with nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it wasn't like the Falcons didn't get in the red zone in this ball game. They were in the red zone several times. The problem was you're not going to win a ball game if you're walking away with nothing. You're not. We were in the red zone 2 times in the fourth quarter and didn't score. We had 2 letdowns. Prime example, there was a field goal that we hit to make it, 27-13 at the time. We had a touchdown to, I want to say it was the Kids, maybe on the play. I got to go back and watch. But there's a touchdown across the middle of the field, but Jalen Mayfield is not holding the block. I'm going to talk about that too in this stream. And also, Matt Ryan get the ball out of time. That's another thing. When you see that your offensive line is having the horrible day that they had, why are you sitting there in the pocket like you got all day long to throw the ball? You got to get that ball out quick. Now, that's one thing that I can say from my personal opinion that Matt Ryan could do better in his way. Matt could do better as far as getting that ball out quicker. Because although he barely has time, I also think it's a combo thing. I don't want to just sit here and say do the casual, Matt Ryan to do A, B, C, D, and E. Because there's 3 levels to this issue. This offensive line is bad. That's number 1. This coaching staff, Arthur Smith in particular, needs to call better. To me, I don't feel like we do enough underneath, short, quick, get that ball out routes like we should. You know you don't have a good offensive line. You know you don't. So why are you sitting here putting yourself in the position to continue to go underneath, to go downfield when you don't have the time? Jalen Mayfield and Matt Hennessy are totally awful. And I hate to call those guys out because this one is a second-year guy, the other one's a rookie. But at the end of the day, your whole left side of the ball cannot block. Don't give your opposing defensive line the opportunity to get after you, to stop drives, we had several drives that failed because simply they couldn't block. There was, I think Matt got sacked. Matt, the announcer on the CBS stream, said that Matt Ryan's been hit the most times of any quarterback in the league. A 36-year-old declining quarterback has been hit the most times of everyone in the league. At this point, he's getting older. He's losing a step every game that we play. And then you don't have an offensive line to sustain. We can talk about this contract all day long. We know the contract's bad. We know the contract's too much. We know we got to get that contract some way, somehow. But at the end of the day, the Falcons have not done enough on their end to build those trenches on both sides of the ball. I'm not going to just sit here and say the Falcons are bad on one side of the ball. They're not bad on the other side of the ball. The offensive line has been terrible against elite to better defensive lines all season long. Tampa got after them. Philly got after them. Tampa's twice, my bad, got after them. New Orleans had their days against us. So at the end of the day, this isn't just a pocket. This is an isolated issue in this 49er game. This has been an issue deeper with this team. Let me go to the comments. Vaughn said, what a bad game. Yes, it was. This was a bad game because the fact is the Falcons had opportunities. They had opportunities to win this ball game. The 49ers did not play well. That 49ers secondary is going to get torched in the playoffs, whether it's Tampa or Green Bay that they get in that first round, they're going to get torched. Because San Francisco, as great as their defensive line is, that back end is awful. That back end is awful. That's the reason we were able to move the ball down the field. We just wasn't doing anything. Let me go to the rest of the comments. Jordan, what's going on, bro? He said the offensive blocking today was terrible. Yes, it was. It was awful on all sides of the ball. You couldn't get a running game going. The pass blocking is the pass blocking. You knew if you're a Falcons fan, you've been watching this team all season, you knew it was going to be a bad day for this offensive line coming into the day. If we didn't run the ball, it was going to be a long day. That's exactly what happened. What's going on, bro? He said that was awful. He said and cut Jalen Mayfield. Jalen freaking Mayfield was a wasted third round pick. He was a wasted third round pick, and it's sad to say it. I know fans at first are like, he's a rookie. I don't care anything about that because at the end of the day, you don't put a pick on a guy to come in and sit here and fall apart like it fell apart all season long. And I'll be honest with you, when you look at the Falcons' offensive line, there's only one position that I'm going forward with saying I'm comfortable with this. Caleb McGarry got abused today by Nick Bosa. I almost said Joey. They're both, that's his brother. But Nick Bosa, I almost said it, y'all excuse me. Nick Bosa abused Caleb McGarry. Matt Hennessy is horrible at center. Jalen Mayfield is horrible at left guard. Jake Matthews is average. For a guy that was a top 10 pick in 2014, he's average. And when you are average along of a bad offensive line, you can't do anything to make these guys better. Plain and simple. And that's what the problem is with this team. You have a mix of a good guard, an average tackle, and a mix of three bad guys on that front with a declining quarterback. Because Matt Ryan can't stay in that pocket and make those throws no more. And then he's not mobile. He'll come out and get a couple of plays here and there. We're like, okay, Matt came out the pocket and did a little something here and there. But he don't have it in him to go out here and extend the play beyond you stay inside the line of scrimmage. And then when he does, he's like a chicken with his head cut off. Plain as I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Let me go back to the comments. Q, what's up, bro? He said that the whole draft just go offensive line. Let's start there. They gonna have to probably go heavy in the trenches this next draft or the next two, maybe mix it up or do a combo of free agency and the draft because you cannot walk away from this draft and not have better pieces there. To me, you have three pieces on this team that needs to be replaced next season. And that's right tackle, center, and left guard. Those three need to be replaced this year. You can get away with Jake Matthews for one more year because Jake Matthews' contract is going to come to an end in 23, and Matt Ryan's contract is going to come to an end. Get rid of that. Get your other guys. Maybe invest in your right tackle and cut bait with left tackle and cut bait with Jake Matthews at 23. That's how you handle that. Because the way that it's set up right now, this is going to be a long couple of years for Matt or whoever his future is. Because I don't care who you put behind that offensive line right now. You can go get Tom out of Tampa Bay, and that's going to be the same issue. Let me go back to the comments. Vaughn Taylor said, I'm sick. I know. AJ said, remember when the Falcons had 0 sacks against the Panthers? Good times. And that's the funny part about it. Carolina has a pretty good offensive line. But the one difference was we were able to run the ball that game. AJ also said Matt Ryan was pressured 27 of 35 dropbacks, and we didn't get the Jimmy G once. Also, we have Lee Smith, and we decided to pass on the one. I was screaming at the TV on that play. I could not believe they came out and called a passing play at the one to your blocking tight end. That was embarrassing. Very embarrassing. And that's where my problem comes in with this team is you don't utilize the guys that you have. And the guys that you're using, they can't produce at the level that you want them to produce at. And go back to the comments. I blame where the stadium's built, those are church grounds. Man, I'm not even gonna talk. We'll talk about that another day because that's a tough topic within itself. Vaughn said that Kyle Pitts had a game, but he's still not consistent. Half of the blame is on Matt Ryan, and the other half is on Kyle No Butterfingers. Yeah, Kyle Pitts, to me, he don't take the top, in my personal opinion, don't take the top off when you're trying to he don't get open enough for me. I think he needs to be, it may be a scheme thing. I think he's a great talent, but it could end up being a case where he might need to move to wide receiver. He may not be able to stay at tight end. He may be able to have to go to wide receiver and just go from there. Because the way that he's set up in this team scheme right now is kind of like he's just a decoy. They don't really utilize the tight ends as they should. Oh, he said that. No, he went 6 overall. He was in that 14 draft. Vaughn said that Jake Matthews is the Vic Beasley of the offensive line. Yeah, he's horrible. He's horrible at this point. He had that one solid stretch and then he just fell apart. He said our roster is screwed for at least 2 more years. Yeah, unfortunately, he could be a very, 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 very bad. It could cost Arthur Smith his job. I'm going back to the comments. Clay was suspect. Yeah, he definitely was. Jalen Mayfield's oh my goodness. Bro, Duke Riley was horrible. Let's see. Okay, I won't say Jake Matthews is bad. Not Vic Beasley. Hey, y'all guys are hilarious in these comments. Let's see, Nate, bro. I've always said they need to build an offensive line. It's just flat out terrible. The Falcons have not had a solid offensive line since Super Bowl 51. The 17 season, the offensive line was very good pass blocking. They were bad run blocking. So we haven't had a balanced offensive line since that season. That says a lot. That's 4 seasons ago. Going back to the comments. Hey, sis, how you doing? She said she's just here to say hello. Also, Vaughn said that AJ Terrell is okay. We need a second decent. I'm gonna be honest with you. AJ Terrell has really shown he's a very good corner, but sometimes it's hard to see how great he really is when you have horrible secondary play outside of AJ Terrell. Fabian Monroe is only good on Madden. Kendall Sheffield is hurt. And the rest of your corners, Avery Williams is getting reps and he's not ready. He's a rookie. Darren Hall, he's having his flashes here and there, but he's not ready either. So you got guys on the team who truly aren't ready to take the lead to be a part of a defense that is, they're not ready yet. You got AJ Terrell, who's really solid. And by the way, I know a lot of folks killed the Falcons for taking him in 2020. He's been outstanding for us in this second year. He's the one bright spot to this bad football team. He's the one bright spot. KD said, I expected better from Arthur Smith play call. So did I. To me, Arthur Smith is not. Arthur Smith has too many moments where he could call a solid game plan, and then we have those 3 red zone drives. Those 3 red zone drives were bad. They were bad because you ran a halfback toss 2 times on the drive, 1 on 4th and 1. Why are you running a halfback toss on 4th and 1 to Cordero Patterson? And by the way, the 49ers made him neutralize today. They said, we're going to take away your best weapon, and you got to beat us with everybody else. And that's exactly what they did. That's what they did. Let's see. Go to the comments again. Vaughn said that we always get 1 decent corner and not 2. I don't like that. Exactly. I agree. I don't like the fact that we have 1 solid guy and then we have a bad guy or 2 bad guys on the other end. We don't have the depth. So that's why in this draft, it's like, I'll say this. I don't think there's anything wrong with what we decide to do in the draft because we need everything. We go back to the comments. Jay, what's up, bro? He said this is me after we were inside the 10 2 times. Exactly. We lost the game inside. We were in the 10 twice, and in the 5, we were in it 3 times. We left 21 points on the field. The 49ers didn't play no amazing game. We left 21 points on the field. Or at worst, 17. The Falcons were inside the 5. We were at the 2 twice. Walking with nothing. This is a horrible loss when you think about what you brought your head coach in to be. He's an offensive-minded head coach. It can't get inside the end zone. Inside the end zone within the 5. That was a horribly coached game. That game was to show where that game would have proved to this whole fan base that you're ready to take that next step. Yes, we were 6-7 going into the game. No, we didn't think we were that good enough to be a postseason team, but that was your chance to prove yourself, and you didn't. You didn't. Q said we need Dan Quinn and Courtney. Dan Quinn's doing an outstanding job in Dallas side, though. But the thing is, Dallas has also put pieces out there. By the way, Tim, I don't know if you're on here. We screamed for Micah Parsons all last season long. Of course, they went and took Kyle Pitts. Nothing against Kyle Pitts, but I wanted Micah Parsons because we knew we needed on defense, and he's been killing in Dallas. Vaughn said Mike Davis has a little Michael Turner in his run scheme. I don't. The funny part about what you just said is he wasn't seeing the vision early in the year. The bad part about it, he wasn't seeing the vision early in the year. But then when you look on the flip side, the Falcons have the Falcons just, I don't think we have the pieces, as we're going to mention about in a few, to fit what he's trying to do. And then you're coming to a team that don't have a lot of talent. They're kind of broke. They're paying people that's not on team no more, from like Ricardo, Julio, those guys like that. You don't have a lot to work with, and then you're having games where you get out coached. It's not good. Obviously, you're moving the ball, but you walked away with 13 points when you should have probably scored at minimum 24 in this ball game. 31-24 is a much better loss than 31-13 with 3 missed opportunities in the red zone. Eamon said, I like Smith and Quinn better. This has been terrible, Arthur. I think Arthur's over his head. I think he's over his head right now. I don't think he really knows what he's doing. And then it shows in games like this. It's like his potential is there. Because the thing about Mike Smith took us to the playoffs year 1. Dan Quinn, we started 5-0 and fell apart to 8-8. But you saw potential. Kyle Shanahan was our OC. You saw guys starting to hit their stride. Yes, that was Matt Ryan's worst year as a professional in 2015, but 16 he was an MVP quarterback. So you started to see the pieces that were starting to line up on top of the fact, and let me bring this up, the Falcons killed the draft in 2008 and in 2015. This draft right here did not go well from what we've seen so far. I don't see a lot of potential in this 2021 class like we saw in 15. Because remember, 15, we drafted Grady Jarrett. We drafted Tevin Coleman. We drafted Vic Beasley, who gave us a 16-sack year in 2016. But you saw the potential. 16 was Deion Jones, Austin Hooper, Devondre Campbell. You get what I'm saying? We were trending where we were hitting on back-to-back classes. Mike Smith, we were hitting on Matt Ryan, Sam Baker at the time. They cool, even though I hated they cool. But you had guys that you could build around that was coming in productive. You haven't seen no rookie. There's not a rookie outside of, to me personally, Richie Grant, that has shown me, oh, this is our guy of the future. Kyle Pitts has his flashes, but Kyle Pitts is the best player, talent-wise. That's how I put it. Best player talent-wise, but he's not the most productive Falcon, if that makes sense. He's productive when it comes to if you leave him out there open, he's gonna destroy you. But he's not taking it out here and showing everybody, hey, I'm the guy. Just yet. It ain't there. But the sad part about it is the Falcons are they're in a stuck spot. I think this is going to be a 2-season problem that we're going to have to fix. And the thing about it is, although they lost today, they're still not out the playoff race. They're still not out the playoff race because the East got to beat up on each other between Philadelphia and Washington. That's the sad part about it. But is this team good enough to do anything in the playoffs? No, they're not at all. At this point, they're just trying to win for pride. But let me go to the comments. Q said, let's chop that 2016 season up with Kyle. Yeah, got to chop it up with Kyle Shanahan. And also, as much heat as I give Kyle Shanahan, these guys are definitely they're winning. They don't have a lot of talent out there in San Fran, but they're winning despite of. What you saw is a guy who knows how to utilize what he has. The 49ers are down to their freaking fourth and fifth string running back. Mostert's been hurt all season. Mitchell's been hurt. You're down to Hasty and Jeff Wilson, and they look productive against us today. So that's the issue that the Falcons have. They don't have a guy that knows how to utilize his players. You even got what's his name? Deebo Samuel, who's a receiver, taking snaps at running back. They're going to use him to his strengths. Yes, we got Cordero Patterson, but you need more than Cordero Patterson. If he's not able to get going like we saw today, who else is going to get going? Zacchaeus? No. Russell Gage, side note, while I'm in the middle of talking about certain guys on the team, let me salute Russell Gage. Russell Gage had a bad drop in the game today, but Russell Gage has been productive. To me, Russell Gage will be a good slot receiver for us in the future. I think he should stay on the team. He's one of the few I would campaign outside of Cordero Patterson that I would keep after this season that's coming up with a contract. That's a person I would definitely go out here and speak and say he definitely did. Q said, who hit harder, Keanu or William Moore? I want to say Keanu Neal was the hardest hitter, but to me, William Moore, in my opinion, he'll put a person out there, man. He'll put a person out there, definitely. Well, I said, Tam got to beat New Orleans tonight. Yeah, they definitely got to. He said that Mike Smith tried to tell us we ain't listen. Mike Smith coached his team up well. If you give Mike Smith some of the pieces that maybe even Quinn had, we might have a ring. But that's a topic for another day. Vaughn said that he can't believe KZ and Neal are with the Cowboys. Also, Dan Quinn took them out there, and it fits their scheme. They have DeMarcus Lawrence. They got pieces like a Randy Gregory, he ain't the most amazing pass rusher, but you got guys that can get after the quarterback. Outside of Grady Jarrett, nobody consistently gets after the quarterback, and teams come in and say, we're going to double Grady. You got to beat us with everybody else. Dante Fowler has his flashes, but he doesn't do a lot. Q said that Russell Gage stepped up. Yes, he has. He definitely stepped up in the absence of Calvin Ridley. Vaughn said that Russell Gage be our number one. Interesting. I think he's a slot guy. I don't know if he's number one, but I definitely get where you're coming from on that. Vaughn said he reminds me of Taylor Gabriel. That's an interesting pickup. Aisha said that I don't like Grady Jarrett is a solid defensive tackle. The problem with Grady Jarrett is when you're the only consistent piece on the team, that is where the problem comes into play. They don't have anybody else that can make anything happen. And that's where the Falcons have a problem going forward. That's the part that sucks. It's like he's great at what he does. But then when you look at you don't have anything else around you, I'm taking away your Pro Bowl DT and I'm going to beat up on everybody else. And this is something that I would go ahead and say, this is something I would say as far as the Falcons, this is the hard thing that I think the Falcons are going to have to face this offseason. Me personally speaking, I'm going to go on record and be the first person to say it. I know it may not be agreed with, but I'm going to go ahead and be real about this thing. I think the Falcons may look into moving Grady and Dion this offseason. Dion needs to be gone. Deion Jones is lost in coverage way too much. George Kittle had a day on him. But I don't think that the Falcons are going to cut Grady. I do think he could be a potential consideration to be traded, not because he's not producing, but because, one, he has a contract year coming up. Next year is going to be a very rough year for us cap-wise because that's Matt Ryan's biggest cap year, $47 million. We're going to be paying Julio's last portion of his deal. I think the Falcons may need to get what they can get for him now. Let him go compete and be on a team that's success that needs a guy like him to produce. And this is nothing against Grady Jarrett because I love Grady Jarrett. I'm a big Grady Jarrett fan. But when I'm thinking about the future of the Atlanta Falcons, you don't want to have that contract on your team, and he's 29 next year. You don't want to have that contract on your team, and you're paying another solid guy big money, and then you kind of find yourself in the Matt Ryan situation. Because I put it to you like this. Matt Ryan deserved the contract when he got it at the time. But the problem comes into this. Matt Ryan isn't the guy anymore. Matt Ryan has lost a step. So when you look at the fact that Matt Ryan has lost a step in his own right, it comes into play like this. So I think Grady could be a big consideration to be moved this offseason. And Deion Jones, oh my God. Let me go to the, oh my God, I gotta show you this comment. Yikes. I had to pause for a second, guys. I had to just bring this comment up right here because Paul Warrilow, oh my God, you talking about Mr. 100 tackle himself. Paul Warrilow was great the 2013 season, and then he fell off, and then we got rid of him. Goodness, Paul Warrilow. Woo. That name. Woo. Wee. But you're right. He's lost in coverage a lot as of recent. Everyone wants to scream about, oh, but he got such and such amount of tackles. You think I care about tackles? I'm going to make 500 tackles after the play. I don't care about tackles. I care about what you can stop. I don't care if you have 100-something tackles, if most of the tackles being made after the play. Make the tackle to stop the play from happening. And that's the problem. He's out of cover. He's out of place a lot. Vaughn also said that Grady was great around with Adrian Claiborne on the side. Yes, the 2017 defense was the last time I can truly say we got pressure when we had Adrian Claiborne and Dontari Poe with Grady. That other guy really didn't matter as much. Vic Beasley was not doing a lot that year, but you had guys who could get after the quarterback. The Falcons haven't consistently had that in 5 years. So that's where the problem's going to come into play. But let me get ready. I got to get ready to go here and show you. We got to talk about the stat line for what it is in this game. Give me a second. Let me pull this up. Because, I try to go to pull the stat line so we can talk about the stat line from any game that we play, just so that can kind of show you more of a recap from that. Hold on 1 second. You guys are hilarious, by the way, in the comments. Y'all guys are hilarious, man. Y'all cracking me up over here. Y'all know I see everything she's talking about. But let's go back to the comments. Excuse me. Let me pull this up. Pull up a game recap so I can go. All right, it's showing that crap. Let me go past it. Okay, let me go to the box score. Give me a second. Let me take myself down from here. Okay, there we go. So, as you see, a stat line for the day, the Falcons lose 31-13. Of course, we know that already. Matt Ryan, 19 of 32, 236 and a touchdown. He got sacked 3 times. Felt like way more than that. But again, let me go back and bring this up again. As I mentioned earlier, Matt Ryan did not have a bad day. We were moving the ball. We just wasn't scoring. Like I said, we moved the ball. We just didn't score in the red zone in this game a lot. We left a lot of points on the field. Truly left a lot of points on the field. Garoppolo was 18-23, 235 and a touchdown. He didn't have to do a lot today. Here's the other deficiency in the rushing department. Jeff Wilson Jr., 21 carries for a $110 and a touchdown. He was big for him today. Hasty, again, they found a way to win this. They don't have to have a star running back. They don't have to have a elite running back. You can win ball games your guys over there doing. And that's exactly what happened today for the 49ers. Jeff Wilson had 110 and a touchdown. So that was a big day for them. Russell Gage, we just talked about him earlier, had 8 for 91 and a touchdown. George Kittle, 6 of 93, no touchdowns. You see Deebo Samuel had 60 yards. Pitts had 77. Zacchaeus had 53 on the day. Again, as you see, that once again, the Falcons had a fumble loss that turned into a touchdown. That Matt Ryan fumble on that third down sack. He said, "Block out the score is hard to look at." Oh man. Let's continue down to the Aluakon led the team in tackles with 10. We had Fred Warner. Fred Warner, by the way, I said it earlier on Facebook. I would love to have a Fred Warner on this defense. Fred Warner does everything. He's a solid left linebacker. Okay, we see San Francisco interception. Neither team threw a pick. Kick, field goals, kick. Let me go up to the team stats, because this is where we're going to see the difference in this ball game. Number one, the Falcons were 0 of 3 on 4th down. All 3 missed 4th downs were in the red zone. That is one of the differences of the ball game. The Falcons ran more plays than the 49ers, as you can see. Did you see the difference of the game? The Falcons nearly matched the 49ers passing. The 49ers absolutely destroyed us in the red zone, in the rushing department. Oh, by the way, look at the red zone. The Falcons were a dismal 1 of 5 in the red zone. 1 of 5. Whereas the 49ers were 4 of 5. That's your ball game right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's your ball game. The difference in the ball game right there. They both made the red zone the same amount of times. One went in 4 times, the other went in 1. That's 3 touchdowns. That's 3 missed 4th downs. That's 21 points you left on the board. Again, like I said, San Francisco did it. San Francisco won the ball game, but the Falcons left a lot on the field in that ball game. As you saw, Garoppolo got sacked 1 time. Matt got sacked 3. So as we said again, the Falcons are messing themselves up. You're costing yourself. Let's see, go into the comments real quick. Q said we need that big dude to call Atlanta. What was his name? Like 400 pounds. You're talking about Grady Jackson. I used to love Grady Jackson. Let's see. Back to the comments. Vaughn said if we don't beat Detroit next week, hey, Detroit's gonna come in with some confidence though against the they're gonna come in with some confidence against winning that game at Arizona today. They're going to come in with a lot of confidence winning that game. Now, I will say this. The playoff picture isn't over for the Falcons, but what I will say is this right here. losing that ball game makes their playoff chances a lot harder, to the point where the Falcons have to pretty much win out. Because let me go to I'm gonna go to the playoff picture. 1 second, guys. I'm gonna go to the playoff picture. All right. As you can see, as of right now, the Packers and the Chiefs are the number 1 seeds in their conference respectively. Tennessee and Tampa's number 2. You got Detroit and New England number 3. The Chargers and Cardinals are 4th. The Rams is 5th. The Niners won today against us. They're 6th. Washington is 7th. Now, here's where the problem is going to come in for the Falcons. You see, we've lost to the Niners, Washington, and Philly. The only team we have a 1-up edge on are the New Orleans Saints, who we beat earlier this year. As you see, the Falcons are on the bubble. The Saints are the only team we have a win against. We lost to Philly week 1. We blew the Washington game, and we lost to the 49ers. You don't blow that Washington game. We're having a different conversation right here. But at the end of the day, the Falcons have lost the games to 6, and the 2 teams tied for 7, which is costing you right now in this playoff picture. Q said that Detroit is going to beat us for sure. Bro, if they come in here and beat us, it's going to be embarrassing. The Falcons, side note, have not won a home game this year. Let me mention that as well. The Falcons have not won a home game this year, which is totally embarrassing. They have not won a home game all season long, and you cannot win. You're not going to make the playoffs of any capacity if you lose ball games like that. And let me go back to the comments. Vaughn also said, we definitely got to beat the Saints in order to still be a factor and hope that Panthers lose out. So the Panthers don't even really matter at this point. The Panthers don't even really matter at this point. We have the edge on them. They're not going to be in this mix. They lost again today, so they're done at this point. The playoff picture is really down to 4 teams as far as that last spot, because it's down because it's 5. Well, no, Sarah. The Vikings have an opportunity to make some noise in that spot. So the Falcons have kind of screwed themselves to put themselves at 11. All these 4 teams are 6 and 7. The Saints are going to lose tonight against Tampa. If they win, that's going to be huge, though, for them in the playoff race. Washington and Philly will beat up on each other to see who's going to be 7th. Minnesota got the Bears tonight. Let's see. Vaughn said we won a home. No, I don't count that game. I know you're going to say, yeah, I know. Yes, that's nice. I'm glad that game in England was a home game for us. I don't count it unless it's in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Can't do it, brother. Sorry. But yeah, as I mentioned, the Falcons blew opportunities. This is a ball game they should have won. I'm going to go ahead and say it. You don't get to the red zone 3 times and not score. That's a ball game you had. Now, San Francisco might be in position to where they're going to probably make the playoffs. They're probably a lock at this point. I don't know what the rest of their schedule is looking like, but they're like a lock at this point to make the playoffs. I'm not sure what their schedule is. Hold on. Matter of fact, I want to check it out so I can tell you guys. I can kind of give you guys an update as I go along this stream. The 49ers have Tennessee, who's kind of reeling. They got the Tennessee Titans on Thursday Night Football. They got the Texans and they got the Rams. The 49ers really just need 2 wins. They're gonna get that 6th spot. They're gonna be in. They just need to really win 2 of their last 3 they're in. Washington's gonna play. I think Washington and Philly has to face off twice, if I'm not mistaken. This may be the first of 2. So one of them are gonna kick each other out of the playoff race. I'm gonna tell you guys to be exact. The Eagles got 2 against Washington, 1 against the Giants, and they then got the Cowboys final week of the year in Dallas. At Philly. So they're gonna kick one of them gonna kick each other out. So that's the race for the Eagles and the Washington football team. They're in division the rest of the season. So they're gonna beat up on each other to get out of the playoff race. So that's the reality of it. The Falcons have the Lions, Bills, and Saints remaining. They need to really win 2 of their last 3 and see what happens from there. But again, they got to do it. It got to be done. So, yeah, that's the bet the Falcons made for themselves. But I appreciate y'all tuning into the stream. I got to come back on here this week. I definitely want to. I got a guest I want to bring on here with me that I definitely want to discuss some more things about the Falcons. Definitely got to get the chance to get prepared for UGA down the road. Next week is the playoffs. So, again, Falcons lost 31-13. Not a good win. I mean, not a good victory, not a good loss for this team if they're trying to make the playoffs. But, hey, we'll see what happens next week. Hopefully these guys can get back into the playoff race. Maybe they beat Detroit and get their first home win. But until then, happy holidays to you and your family. Enjoy your Christmas break. And we'll be back on here today after Christmas. Y'all have a good one.